You want to know something scary? Right now, there's someone in your life messing with your mind, and you keep thinking it's your fault. You keep thinking maybe you're too sensitive, maybe you're overreacting. But here's the truth nobody tells you. It's not you. There are 5 tricks manipulators use, and once you learn them, you'll spot these people in under 60 seconds. And when you do, they can't hurt you anymore. So let's learn all 5 tricks right now. 1. They make you feel bad for saying no. Okay, here's the first trick, and it happens fast, like really fast. You say no to something, doesn't matter what. Maybe you can't help them. Maybe you don't want to go somewhere. Maybe you're just busy. And a normal person, they say, okay, no problem. That's it, done. But a manipulator? Oh no, they make it a whole thing. Their face changes, they get quiet, or they sigh really loud, or they say things like, wow, okay then, or I guess I'll just do it alone, or I thought we were friends. Suddenly you feel terrible, like you just kicked a puppy, like you're the worst person in the world. And that feeling? That's the point. That's the manipulation. They're making you feel guilty for having boundaries, for having your own life, for not doing exactly what they want. Here's what's really happening. They're training you, like a dog. Every time you say no, they make you feel so bad that next time, you'll just say yes to avoid that feeling. And it works. Most people fall for it every single time. Think about it. After you tell them no, do you spend the next hour feeling bad? Do you text them later apologizing? Do you change your mind just to make the guilt stop? If yes, they got you. They're in your head. Here's the test. Say no to something small. Watch what happens. Do they respect your answer, or do they guilt trip you? Normal people understand the word no. They don't need a reason. They don't need a story. They just accept it and move on. But manipulators? They push. They poke. They make you explain. They make you defend yourself. They make you feel like saying no makes you a bad person. So here's what you do. Next time they try this, don't explain, don't apologize, don't feel bad. Just say, I can't. That's it. 2 words. End of sentence. They push, you repeat it, I can't. They guilt trip, you stay calm. I understand you're disappointed, but I can't. Watch what happens. They'll get confused, because you're not playing the game anymore. You're not taking the guilt they're trying to give you. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop accepting guilt for having boundaries, they lose their power. They can't control you anymore. Strong people say no without explaining. Manipulators hate that. 2. They keep changing the story. Oh man, this one drives you crazy, because you start doubting your own memory. Something happens. You know it happened. You were there. You saw it. You heard it. But when you bring it up later, they say it differently. Completely differently. They said they'd pick you up at 7. You remember clearly. 7 o'clock. You even wrote it down. 7 comes and goes. No show. You call them, where are you? And they say, I said 7:30. You heard me wrong. Or they promise to do something. You remember the promise. Clear as day. But when you remind them, they say, I never said that. You're remembering wrong. That's not what I meant. And here's what messes you up. They say it so confidently, so sure, like you're the crazy one. So you start thinking, wait, did I hear wrong? Am I remembering wrong? Is my brain broken? No. Your brain is fine. They're lying, on purpose, to confuse you. It's called gaslighting. And it's one of the worst things manipulators do. Because when you doubt your own memory, when you doubt your own reality, you depend on them to tell you what's true, and that gives them all the power. Here's how you spot this early. Pay attention to how often you feel confused around them, how often you question yourself, how often you think, wait, am I going crazy? If you feel that way a lot, that's not an accident. That's manipulation. Normal people don't make you doubt reality. They don't change stories. They don't make you feel like your memory is broken. But manipulators? They rewrite history constantly. Whatever version helps them in the moment, that's the version they tell. So, what do? Start keeping track. Write things down. Save messages. Not because you're paranoid, because you need proof when they gaslight you. And when they change the story, don't argue. Don't try to convince them. Just say, that's not what happened, and walk away. You know the truth. You don't need them to admit it. You just need to trust yourself. Because the moment you start trusting yourself more than you trust them, they lose control. 3. They play victim when you call them out. This trick is sneaky, because it flips everything upside down in 2 seconds flat. You finally work up the courage to tell them they hurt you. You're calm, you're not attacking, you just want to talk about it. You say, hey, when you did this thing, it hurt my feelings. And instead of listening, instead of apologizing, instead of taking responsibility, they fall apart. Suddenly they're the victim. Suddenly, they're the one who's hurt. They start crying, or they get angry, or they say things like, "I can't believe you think that about me," or "You always think the worst of me," or "I guess I'm just a terrible person then." And now you're stuck. You came to talk about your feelings, but now you're comforting them. You're apologizing to them. You're making them feel better. How did that happen? Manipulation. That's how. They turned it around. They made themselves the victim so you'd forget about your hurt and focus on theirs. And it works every time, because you're a good person. You don't like seeing people upset, so you drop your issue to fix theirs. And your hurt never gets addressed, never gets resolved, just gets buried. Here's the pattern. Every time you try to talk about something they did wrong, somehow you end up being the bad guy. Somehow you end up apologizing. If that keeps happening, that's not normal. That's manipulation. Normal people can hear they hurt you without falling apart. They can say sorry without making it about them. They can take responsibility. But manipulators, they can't, won't, because if they admit they're wrong, they lose control. So what do? Don't fall for it. When they flip it, stay on track. Say, "I hear that you're upset, but I still need to talk about what I'm feeling." If they keep making it about them, end the conversation. Say, "We can talk when you're ready to listen," and leave. Your feelings matter, even if they try to make you forget that. 4. They give compliments that feel like insults. Okay, this one's twisted, because on the surface, it sounds nice. But something about it makes you feel bad. They say things like, "Wow, you're so brave for wearing that," or "I could never be as careless as you," or "You're pretty for someone your size." And you think, wait, was that a compliment or an insult? I can't tell. That confusion? That's the point. That's the manipulation. It's called a backhanded compliment. And manipulators love them, because they get to insult you while pretending to be nice. You can't call them out, because they'll say, "What? I was giving you a compliment. Why are you being so sensitive?" And now you look like the problem, like you can't take a nice comment. But you felt it. That little sting, that little voice in your head going, "That wasn't actually nice, was it?" Trust that voice. That voice is right. Here's what they're really doing. They're chipping away at your confidence, little by little, one weird compliment at a time. Because if they said straight insults, you'd leave. But these are subtle. These keep you confused. These make you doubt yourself. Here's how you spot it. Pay attention to how you feel after they compliment you. Do you feel good, or do you feel weird? If you feel weird, that wasn't really a compliment. Normal people give compliments that make you feel good. Period. There's no hidden meaning, no little jab, just kindness. But manipulators, they can't just be kind. They have to take you down a notch while they're at it. So what do? Call it out. Not aggressively, just honestly. They say something weird, you say, that sounded like an insult. If they backtrack, if they say you're too sensitive, you know the truth. Or just say, "Thanks," and move on. Don't let it sink in. Don't let it live in your head. You know your worth. Their weird comments don't change that. 5. They isolate you from other people. This is the most dangerous trick, because by the time you notice it, it might be too late. It starts small. So small you don't see it. You mention hanging out with a friend. They get quiet. Or they make a face. Or they say, "I don't really like them," or "They're not good for you." You mention your family. They find problems with them. They say your family doesn't understand you, that they're toxic, that you're better off without them. And at first, you think, maybe they're right. Maybe these people aren't good for me. So you start pulling away. You see your friends less. You talk to your family less. You spend more time with this one person. And slowly, without realizing it, your whole world becomes them. They're your only friend, your only support, your only everything. And that's exactly what they wanted. Because now you're trapped. You have nobody else. You depend on them completely. And they have all the control. Here's the pattern. Do they support your other relationships, or do they find problems with everyone in your life? Do they encourage you to spend time with others, or do they get upset when you do? Do they want you to have a full life, or do they want you to only have them? If it's the second one, run. Seriously, run. Because isolation is how manipulators trap you. It's how they make sure you can't leave. It's how they keep power over you. Normal people want you to be happy, even if that means spending time with others, even if that means having friends and family you love. They're secure enough to share your time. They're confident enough to not need all of you. But manipulators? They're terrified you'll see the truth if you talk to other people. Terrified someone else will point out what they're doing. So they cut you off, slowly, carefully, until you're alone with them. So what do? Keep your people close. No matter what they say, make time for friends. Call your family. Don't let anyone make you choose. And if they do make you choose, If they say it's them or everyone else, choose everyone else, every single time. Because someone who really loves you would never make you give up everyone else. They'd never want you isolated. They'd never want you alone. Okay, so now you know the 5 tricks. They guilt you for saying no. They change the story. They play victim. They give fake compliments. And they isolate you. Think about your life right now. Is someone doing these things to you? If yes, you know what you need to do. Create distance, set boundaries, protect yourself. Here's what I want you to try this week. Pick one trick from this list. Just one. And the next time someone tries it on you, don't fall for it. They guilt you? Don't feel guilty. They change the story? Trust your memory. They play victim? Stay on topic. They give a weird compliment? Don't let it land. They don't like your friends? See them anyway. Do it once. Just once. Watch what happens. Some people will respect your boundary, some will get confused, some will get upset and show their true colors. All of those are good outcomes, because now you know the truth about who they really are. And here's what nobody tells you. When you remove manipulators from your life, you don't lose anything. You gain everything. You gain peace, you gain clarity, you gain freedom, you gain yourself back. You deserve people who treat you well, who respect your boundaries, who make you feel good, not confused, who build you up, not tear you down. But you'll never have room for those people if manipulators are taking up all the space. So, start today. Spot the tricks, stop falling for them, and protect your peace. Now, if this video helped you see manipulation clearly, hit that subscribe button. One click. That's it. Then go live your life free from people who play mind games. You've got this.